Now, to continue this conversation is actress, singer, and songwriter Montana Tucker. Montana is the granddaughter of two Holocaust survivors, and she uses her platform of more than 9 million followers on TikTok and 3 million on Instagram to fight anti-Semitism. In a series of videos, she documented a recent trip to Auschwitz to see where both of her grandparents had been held captive, roughly 70 years before. Those videos were then turned into a powerful YouTube documentary. Here's a short clip.
Emotional because I know, my grandparents had stories where they saw, their friends and family get killed right in front of them. And while you were, sharing that story, I was, trying to visualize, them right there into the pit. I don't know why I was doing that to myself. Now I, regret being oh, this walk is so beautiful.
It's hard to believe in a place like that where you found some peace that there was so much violence and hatred and ugliness.
Yep.
Not that long ago.
Yep.
It's good to see you. Congratulations
Thank you for having me.
All of your success.
Thank you so much for having me. It gets me emotional seeing that clip again,
I understand.
It's been a little while since I watched it, and every time I watch it, it makes me emotional.
Now you're in town tonight for a special event.
Yes.
What's going on?
Yes, I'm very excited and very honored to be in town for the Jewish National Fund event tonight. It's a men's event, so all men. It's about 400 philanthropists and entrepreneurs in the community that have really decided to step up during this time and want to use their resources to help Israel. I think that's something that's so beautiful about, since October 7th, I've seen the Jewish community around the world step up, and I'm really honored and excited to speak with the incredible Arizona community.
You've used your platform, extremely popular on social media. We mentioned the stats, which are off the charts, plus you're a singer, dancer. What motivated you to take a chance on maybe alienating some of your fans by taking a stance against anti-Semitism?
I grew up with Holocaust survivor grandparents, and they would do everything that they could to make sure that no one would forget and never again. They would speak to anyone that they would meet and tell them their stories. And my Zadie, my grandpa, specifically would wear pins every day that said, never forget, never again, and survivor. And Jews back then, it didn't matter how rich you were, how famous you were, how successful you were. If you were Jewish, that was it for you. But nowadays, it's different. We have a voice, and we're able to use our voices, and we're able to do everything we can to stop this from happening again. And so when I made my Holocaust educational docuseries, I started dedicating my life to combating anti-Semitism and all forms of hate. And then when October 7th happened, something inside of me just took over and said, you need to do everything you can. This is your time to step up and do what your grandparents wish they could have.
I think we saw an image of it just a few minutes ago when we were introducing you. You wore a yellow ribbon at the Grammys,
yes,
to bring attention to the Israeli hostages from October 7th. What kind of reaction did you get?
Since October 7th, keeping the hostages at the forefront of all of my content and messaging has always been very important to me. And when I got asked to walk the carpet at the Grammys and go and create content for them, I knew this was my opportunity to do something because no one else was in the previous award shows. And they were trying to get people to just wear a simple yellow pin to represent the hostages.
They don't want those shows being political at all.
Exactly. And so when I wore the dress, even though, I'm sorry, but calling for the release of hostages, innocent hostages, especially Americans, I don't believe is political at all. And I wore this dress to honor them and to make sure that they felt seen and heard, the families I already built relationships with. And I walked the carpet, and somebody from the Recording Academy actually came up to me and asked if I was finished, and they were trying to scurry me off the carpet, and they said they were disappointed in my dress and that they don't do politics at the Grammys. And then I said the same thing, this is actually not political at all. And then they told me they're sorry that the Recording Academy can't share any of my content from that night. And then thankfully, a few minutes later, Harvey Mason Jr., who's actually the head of the entire Recording Academy, came up to me and said, actually, thank you so much for wearing that dress. I love what you're wearing. Can we take a photo? So it did cause a lot of controversy from people in attendance looking at me, but the support I received online from the hostage families, from people, Jews around the world, people around the world saying thank you for representing us, and I'm really grateful for that.
Did you get a lot of negative pushback as well?
Oh yeah, so much. I mean, even just at the Grammys, the stares that I received online, I still to this day, because that post got shared so many times and commented like 20,000 comments, I believe, something like that. If you look through the comments, they're either so incredibly supportive or so crazy negative. I mean, I get death threats every single day. People say your grandparents should have died. We're not going to stop until you die. You know, it's crazy the messages I get, but that just fuels me even more. It makes me want to stand up even more because I know what I'm doing and I'm standing for the humanity.
Good for you. Did you lose followers?
Oh yeah, in the first few weeks of posting about Israel, it was hundreds of thousands. And I couldn't believe that many people had so much hate inside of them, because the messaging in all of my content is unity and peace. If you really look through it, I'm always trying to unite everybody and bring peace to everyone. So the fact that many people had a problem with that, at first it was shocking, but then I said, you know what? I don't even want those people to follow me anymore. I want people who align with what I stand for.
Most people would agree that October 7th and the days after that was sort of a spark point for a relaunching of anti-Semitic feelings in America, especially on college campuses. What have you seen?
I believe anti-Semitism has always been here. You know, I grew up with my grandparents always telling me that, and I grew up in Boca Raton, Florida, a predominantly Jewish area, so I never experienced anti-Semitism growing up. I can't say that I had. And so now, seeing it again and always hearing my grandparents' stories, I realize it's always been there. Just for some reason now it's become socially accepted. There are no repercussions for being anti-Semitic. So many things just fly that wouldn't fly with any other ethnicity, religion, racial group, and I don't think it's fair. I think all forms of hate should be condemned, and any racism or anti-Semitism or Islamophobia. Islamophobia, I'm so sorry. All of that should be condemned, and none of that should be accepted, no matter what. And for some reason, when it comes to speaking about Jews or anti-Semitism, it just slides, and there's no repercussions.
You know, here's what I find interesting. You have made a great living on social media, but it's also full of hate, not just against Jewish people, but against Muslims, against Asians, especially in the post days of COVID. Yeah. Do you think that there should be better governance on that? And we're keeping the right to free speech in mind, but should there be better governance on social media platforms when it comes to hate speech?
100%. I think none of it should be allowed, and there absolutely should be repercussions, and especially what we're seeing in the younger generation, the Gen Z or younger leading up to colleges. That's why they're acting the way that they're acting, is because they're allowed to. They're allowed to. There are no repercussions. If there were people condemning, whether it's online, the post should be removed immediately. It makes no sense to me how these posts are not flagged and removed immediately. I mean, it's causing a lot of harm to kids in even middle school. They're getting bullied online so badly, and it's getting to the extreme level of people should be very concerned in middle school, high school, and then we see what's happening on the college campuses. So absolutely there should be 100% repercussions for this.
Well, I appreciate your coming in. I know you're very busy. You have this appearance tonight.
Yes.
Enjoy yourself. Enjoy Hanukkah.
Thank you so much. Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back.